Here with Adam Rossow of Hawkeye headquarters, talking Iowa men's basketball. You were at the game today at Carver Hawkeye Arena. Great showing there, to say the least, against Illinois. Another Big Ten win, their 5th straight. It seemed like they just started strong, really never lost their groove.
Yeah, they've really been taking care of business at home. That's been one consistent thing since the first home game of the year. I mean, Iowa State, Ohio State, Nebraska. Really the only blemish is that Wisconsin loss, which came down to the final minutes. But yeah, today was more of the same. That offense really got going after a slow start. I think it was about an 18-12 game. And then Joe Wieskamp, Isaiah Moss just started filling it up. Obviously, they get the victory over an Illini team that, earlier in the week, they'd beaten Minnesota pretty handily at home. Minnesota's not a bad team, but they came here and really got dominated by the Hawks. Yeah,
so now the Hawkeyes continuing to rattle off those Big Ten wins. They're now 5-3 on the season. What would you say has been maybe the biggest change from last year to this year, especially in conference play?
I mean, definitely the defense. We did a package on it, I think, earlier in the week after that Ohio State win, but it's night and day on the defensive end of the floor, and I think you really appreciate it when you're like us, when we're baseline filming or watching the game up close and personal. The amount of communication they're having, the amount they're talking to each other, the amount the bench is actually helping communicate and call out the plays and where they need to be. It's just a complete 180 from last year. I mean, they were awful defensively last year. I mean, we talked about it multiple times. This year, a complete 180, and that's why they're winning games, and that's why they're one of the top 20, 25 teams in the country right now.
They certainly had their struggles, and but Joe Wieskamp has been a huge addition to this squad. Obviously, they really need some help from the scoring end, and he's certainly been providing that when he's been healthy and ready and willing. And tonight he showed that on full display, 24 points. I mean, what can you say about his night tonight?
I mean, he's as good as we've seen him play at Muscatine High School. It's a different level going to the Big Ten. I mean, let's be honest. It's one of the top 2 or 3 conferences in the country. And he just looks like he's getting more and more comfortable every week. He said that after the game. He wasn't used to the physicality and the athleticism early on in the Big Ten guards, but now he's adjusted and he's playing through it. And obviously today, perfect from the field, 6 threes, 2 two-pointers, and he had, I think, 2 free throws as well. So he's perfect. Didn't miss a shot. Obviously leading it with 24 points, and then everybody filling it up in the second half today. But I think Wieskamp's giving them stability and giving them a little bit more, punch from that 2-guard position. But then you have to like how guys like Ryan Kriener have played off the bench. Connor McCaffrey's given them a lot of good minutes and a lot of good attitude at the guard position. So I think that, coupled with another year maturity of guys like Bohannon and Cook and company, has put it all together so far.
Yeah, and now we find ourselves with a Michigan State team coming up next. Iowa's played pretty well against ranked teams so far this year. They had the Ohio State game, obviously, a couple other key ones in the past couple of weeks. And then they get the win against Penn State. They are not ranked, but still a big conference win. What are they going to have to do to kind of carry this momentum against the league-leading Spartans?
Yeah, I mean, they haven't lost a Big Ten game. They're tops in the conference after Michigan got upset by Ethan Happ's Badgers on Saturday. So I think with them, it comes down to being able to deal with their man-to-man defense. And Fran McCaffrey said after the game today, it's probably one of the best defenses you'll see the entire season. And they played them once, and they played them in East Lansing, a tough environment. I think really the key is managing that and getting off to a good start. They can't get behind the 8 ball and get down by double digits, even though they're playing at Carver Hawkeye. I think maintaining kind of that striking distance, that 2-possession, either deficit or obviously if they run out to a lead, but just staying within striking distance. And, we've seen Michigan go down to Wisconsin. Michigan State just barely got past Nebraska earlier in the week over in Lincoln. So I do think the Spartans are ripe for the taking. I think it's really going to help that Iowa has experience playing this team, even though they lost, playing them and just getting a feel for how physical they are and how much they have to be on their fundamentals as far as rebounding and getting the spots on the floor defensively to be able to upset the Spartans.
Well, it's a huge opportunity for them to be able to do that, and they get to do it at Carver Hawkeye Arena. That makes it even more special and potentially impactful on the entire season. If you carry that into 6 straight wins, obviously against the league leaders, that should bode very well. So you'll be at that game and providing us.
Yeah, and I mean the next 3 games, you go Michigan State at home, top 5 team. You're going to go Minnesota on the road, a rivalry game, a team that's going to be desperate for some victories up at Williams Arena. And then the following Friday, they come back home to Michigan, who's lost once. They're 17-1. So the next 3 games, if they can win 2 out of those 3 games, you have to like their chances as they build that resume toward the NCAA tournament.
Absolutely. 23rd ranked right now in the nation, hoping to continue to climb up those rankings. Adam Rossow, Hawkeye headquarters, will have that game later on this week. But stick with us. We're going to talk some NFL after this.
Catching our breath after tonight. Wow.
Absolutely. Got some hot takes on the way, too. Stick with us.